and welcome to this episode of Enterprise Unplugged. I'm Laura Burrell, and today, in our first episode focusing on career paths, I'm going to be talking to Scott Padwick. Scott,
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hi. So, we're having a chat about your career today, and to start with, I would usually ask about what your journey was like before getting to Exertis. But your career sort of started with Exertis, didn't it?
Pretty much. I sort of finished school, didn't really want to go to college, got a job selling windows, cold calling, and then got a job selling loans. And I was 19 when I got the job at Exertis, yeah.
Okay, and so was it just a standard sales job at Exertis that you went for?
Yeah, well actually, I went for a job interview because one of my friends worked at Hammer at the time it was.
Okay.
And yeah, he was doing really well and it sounded like a really nice company to work for. There was good opportunities there. Went for the first interview, second interview, didn't get the job. It was to take an area over.
Right.
So I wasn't experienced enough, but they did say they'd call me back in 6 months for the academy.
Okay.
But I was sort of apprehensive, but they did call in the end. So yeah, that's how I got in.
Amazing. So you came through the academy. So the academy was running, how many years ago was this, if you don't mind me asking?
20 years ago.
Okay, 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow, you've got staying power, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Amazing. So academy's been going, I didn't realise the academy had been going that long.
I think it started and then they've redone it again over the last few years. Yeah.
Had a bit of a revamp. Oh,
Yeah.
Amazing. So started in the academy. So you're sort of an academy poster boy, really, for these like new academy.
Kind of,
chaps
yeah. I
coming
mean,
in.
there was 7 or 8 of us in the academy. Half of them didn't make it through the academy. Then we got put onto sort of like onto the sales floor, and then we got divided out into sales teams. And yeah, I guess I'm the only one that's still there.
Really? You're the only one, well, I suppose it was 20 years ago, only one from that cohort still there. So
That's
what team did you go into first when you were sort of out of academy?
Gosh, I can't actually remember. We went into it was just a general sales team. It wasn't like an enterprise or this or that.
It's not
So
focused.
it was like a components team, because at Hammer you had the solutions team and the components team. So I went into the components team, which was had about 3 or 4 different sales teams in it.
Amazing. And so have you stayed sort of in the same sort of region of sales, the same sort of team, or have things moved around a bit in the last 20 years?
To be honest, yeah, no, I've been promoted a few times, senior, premier, etc. But I've stayed as an account manager. Yeah,
Fantastic.
I've enjoyed that.
What's your favourite thing about sort of being an accountant?
Well, for me, management's not really been of interest to me because I like to control everything and I can control my own. If I don't hit targets, it's on me, not on anyone else.
That's
So
it, yeah.
it's quite important to me to have that kind of control.
Oh, brilliant. Cool. So what, at the moment in your role, what does a day look like for you?
Every day's different. I mean, 8:30 normally we have a training session potentially, and then it's sort of getting through the emails, looking at my prospects, trying to network with vendors, actioning all of the emails, and then tomorrow could be a different day.
Yeah. Keeps it interesting, I suppose, which is why you stuck around for 20 years.
It does, yeah.
Amazing. So, being with the same company for 20 years, obviously, whilst a lot of your role has remained the same, I imagine there's sort of been a lot of changes with the company, changes of like attitudes and sales techniques, changes in the market. What would you say has been the biggest changes over the last 20 years that have impacted your role?
In terms of technology or in terms of just changes?
Let's start with tech.
So, I mean, technology is changing all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not technical and I'm struggling to keep up with everything that changes. When I first joined, we were selling small tapes, and now we're selling sort of hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of servers. So yeah, definitely technology's changed, and AI is going to drive that change even more. Yeah,
absolutely. And I know we've got an AI Centre of Excellence at Exertis Enterprise. Is that something you're part of?
Yes, I'm part of that, yeah.
Amazing. How's that going?
Just learning at the moment. Mm-hmm. It's a lot to take on. But yeah, no, I'm trying to get all the training done to just keep one step ahead.
Amazing. And you're going to be educating the rest of us, I imagine, because if you talk to someone like me, you say AI, and I think robots. But and that's all I've got.
For me, AI obviously is going to change everything for everyone. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's going to, if you look at it from a device, you've almost got like a personal assistant in your pocket.
Yeah.
And you've got ChatGPT you can have conversations with, so it's now computers thinking for themselves.
Yeah.
But from a technology perspective, When I see AI, it's sort of almost like HPC computing. It's very expensive equipment. So the opportunity for us as a technology distributor is massive.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the way that everybody's sort of going as well. So it's sort of good to be ahead of the curve there.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is what Enterprise is doing. Oh, fantastic. So I've got a couple of silly questions here. So there's been a lot of Exertis chat. And while that is why we're here, obviously, but one of the main reasons we want to do these podcasts is for the employees of Exertis, and we want to get to know the people.
Okay.
So let's say, Scott, you finally made it to the end of a long week. It's Friday. What does a good weekend look like for you?
Good weekend.
Keep it
Yeah. So I would, on a Friday after work, take my fiancée to a restaurant in Reading called Bolan. It's a Thai restaurant.
Okay.
Absolutely brilliant. It's off the beaten track, so no one knows about it, but it's really good. A Saturday would probably be around the golf, followed by watching the football, and then Sunday roast.
Oh yeah.
Perfect weekend.
Oh, amazing. That sounds like a good weekend. Apart from the sport for me, I wouldn't know anything about football or golf. But yeah, sounds like a very relaxing weekend. Okay, let's go with your favourite place you've ever visited.
Probably Londolozi Safari, and that was an Exertis trip. Actually, it was unreal. Yeah.
Was it Exertis Express?
No, it wasn't. It was one of the drive focuses. So it was like an individual sort of promo with all the drive vendors, and they took us to South Africa. We got to see all the game close up, and it was just once in a lifetime experience.
That's incredible. And another sort of like nice little perk, I suppose, of sort of like working your way up in sales and the.
Yeah, there was a good mix of people there, vendors as well, so it's really good for networking, but it's just such an amazing experience.
That sounds, once in a lifetime sort of stuff. Fantastic. What would people be surprised to learn about you?
Okay, you've got me there. Okay, I've lived in 3 countries.
Okay.
Yeah, Australia, Zimbabwe and England. And when we lived in Zimbabwe, we had an orphaned chimp who bit my cousin's thumb off and then had to be sent to a sanctuary.
Oh my God. Wow, that's a story.
It's a story, yeah. His name is Billy.
Oh, amazing. Oh my goodness. How's your cousin?
Yeah, he's got half a thumb, so
but he's alright. Yeah. But he's alright, he made it through.
He did, yeah.
Oh wow, that's a hell of a story. Enjoyed that one. Curveball question for you. Who inspires you the most? It can be at work, it can be in your personal life.
There's a lot of people that inspire me at work. I mean, I've worked for Exertis and Hammer for 20 years, and I've got a lot of respect for a lot of people I've worked with. But someone new is a guy called Russell Martin, and he's a Southampton manager, but the way he carries himself in his interviews, he's someone I'd really like to sit down and have a coffee with.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a strange one, but yeah.
No, not at all.
He holds himself really well.
Yeah. Awesome. Fantastic. So, we've had a few curveball questions. Let's get back to Exertis, Enterprise and your career. What would you say has been the biggest challenge so far in your career?
So, I mean, obviously COVID would be the obvious one, but for me, I think the biggest challenge was Brexit.
Yeah.
So, I sell mainly into France. And when Brexit was, we didn't have the European sort of warehouse invoicing facility, so we had to act. And luckily for us, Exertis had a business in France, so that was quite challenging how we would move our business to that entity, considering they weren't anything to do with Enterprise or anything like that. So yeah, we nearly lost a few customers that way, but we managed to keep them on board.
Managed to overcome it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, that was months of planning, but it was very challenging at the time.
I imagine it was stressful. Yeah.
It certainly was, yeah.
What achievement in your career would you say has made you most proud? What are you most proud of?
I've been named Sales Guy of the Year twice, which
Nice.
I'm very proud of.
Is that within Exertis Enterprise or?
Exertis Enterprise and Hammer, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And what would you say is the most exciting thing you're working on at the moment?
I've got some exciting opportunities I'm working on with some of my customers that involve a lot of the AI equipment and sort of the GPU systems. So if they come off, then they'll be quite exciting.
What I know you won't be able to go into like end user information, but what's the setup, the environment that's going into?
So it's a HGX system, which is a GPU based system in a cluster, and it's for basically HPC as a service, if you like, through one of my cloud providers.
Fantastic. I mean, you say you're not technical. That all sounded very technical to me.
Yeah, I'm not technical.
Thinking now, obviously you started out in the academy, you sort of worked your way through there, you've been with us for 20 years. What would you say to somebody starting either as a sales rep at Exertis or starting in the academy now? What advice would you give them?
The advice would be make as many phone calls as you can, because you're going to get rejected a lot. Look at who's successful and doing well and find out where they're successful, and then just try and replicate what some of the more experienced sales guys are doing, and just keep going, because it can be quite hard.
Replicate the experience.
Exactly
I suppose
that,
that's sort of what this is about, I suppose. Sort of like young people coming in, listen to your story, listen to what.
Well, it's a massive opportunity, so they just need to grab it with both hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I'm always hearing the sales manager say, get on the phone.
Exactly that, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, the theory works, obviously. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me today, Scott.
No worries.
It's been great getting to know you and a bit about your career with Exertis. And thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the first episode of Career Paths, and we'll see you next time on Exertis Enterprise Unplugged.